everybody. Welcome back to another episode of I Brought You Into This World. My name is Amanda Hurley, and it is a lovely Wednesday evening. And I'm here with my guest, Sarah Lowell Harmon, who is the owner of School of Mom, Mothering Ourselves Mindfully. And it's nice to meet you. We're meeting today for the first time. So thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's so lovely to be in the room with you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Like we can touch each other.
We're chilling. Yeah, it's nice. Like, it's cool that we can do virtual podcasts, but it's different.
It's different.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Now, we have at least one thing in common. We both have daughters. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that we'll chat a little bit about that.
Yes.
And just to kind of go back in time a little bit, where are you from? What is your background? Are you local to here?
Oh, so I grew up in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Amesbury, okay.
I was born in D.C., but don't remember it. Mm-hmm. So I really grew up in New England and went to the Midwest for college. I was in Ohio.
Cool.
Moved to San Diego after that to flounder.
Yes.
And drink Bud Lights on the beach.
You got to do some of that.
At 21.
Yes.
And then I moved to New Zealand, actually, after that for a kind of year off before coming back to do my graduate program in therapy. I knew I wanted to be a therapist ever since undergrad. But I ended up getting a really amazing job managing multi-sport events, triathlon, duathlons. And so I stayed in New Zealand for a little over 3 years. And then I came back to Boston.
That's interesting. That's a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
From therapy.
Yes.
How? Why?
Well, so I took Psychology 100 as a freshman at Denison University. And I was one of those people, I actually remember listening to my teacher and being like, this is it for me. I was so into it to the point where when you look through the course catalog and you want to take everything. And I was just like, this is fascinating. I'm fascinated by like humans and behavior. And I also knew though that I had no business counseling anybody at 21. Like I was so
like, real.
No one should come to me
21-year-olds think they know everything.
Yeah. And I just was, couldn't imagine sitting in a seat across from someone. Because at that point I knew I didn't want to work with kids. Mm-hmm. I did want to work with adults. So I knew I had to go live life and be lost and work through some of my own stuff. And so it was windy. It was a windy road, but I really trust that, that was the way it was meant to be. And I also, before I started my master's, I got certified in yoga. So that was a big part of my journey. I also knew I wanted to get certified in yoga as kind of a stepping stone. And so that was really the foundation of the work I started to do that was outside of the triathlon space. But I actually did run a duathlon series for women. So it was not related.
Are you athletic?
I would say, I've got to, now I'm not as active as I used to be, but I played field hockey, lacrosse all through college. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love sports and I was a gymnast before that. So yes, I would say I'm athletic.
That's really cool.
I love sports. We ski.
Skiing is fun. I haven't gone in so long. It's one of those things you're like, whoops, how long has it been? You have to make an effort to do it.
Thankfully, my husband and I are on the same page. We just love it so much. So now our kids ski, but it is the financial commitment alone, like you have to love it so much. And then there's the pain of getting young kids to learn how to ski.
Yeah.
And you need to be in it to win it. I mean, there have been, we're getting out of the hardest part, but meltdowns all around. I have had so many tears in the ski lodge and along with my daughters. It's worth it. It's been worth it.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's probably why my parents didn't take me that much, mainly the financial end, but also
you have to love it. And we do, like both of us really love it. So
that is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. So growing up, you said a brother?
I have a younger brother and an older sister. Yep. And so my parents, when we were growing up, like we were such a privileged New England family. Like I grew up in like a great neighborhood. My family, we were like the family that people came to, like, especially in high school. I went to a boarding school. I was a day student, but my family was like this, like very open, welcoming. We took in a lot of boarders for holidays, and it was an awesome experience. For the most part, like everything was kind of good, but hindsight is 20/20 in some ways, where
for sure,
I think many people in our generation can relate. Like my mom, I think especially mothering my daughters now and how present I am in their lives. Like my mom very much was like she didn't do the bus stop. So I never really saw her in the morning, which was kind of amazing actually. My dad always did breakfast, and I think that was his thing.
That's cool.
But she never did the bus stop. She never did the morning, like not once did breakfast that I can remember. And then after school, it was like we came home and she was watching soap operas and drinking tab and was like, see you at dinner. And so there was a lot of wandering, which of course was great, I think developmentally, but I also like looking back on it, I don't have really any memories of like spending quality time with my mom.
Oh, wow.
So that like now I see that, but during that time we were a great family unit, everything was good, but things started to, there was color that came later.
Yeah.
For sure. So in college, my family moved to Maine, and I, again, kind of things were still okay. My mom struggled with drinking, and basically what happened, just like this could be like a 9-hour podcast, the journey of my mom. But when I was getting my master's in mental health counseling, so this was, a while after undergrad.
Yeah.
My mom had a true psychotic break. Like I was studying for my licensure exam, reading about things that I'd never seen in an internship. Most clinicians won't see them unless they're in an inpatient unit. But my mom was seeing faces in trees. She was going to, like, she'd be like, I saw so-and-so on stage at the, concert or something like that. And then she was so paranoid and delusional, and it was wild. And there were so many things that happened during that time, but essentially a very painful, long road of mental health to involuntary hospitalizations. At this point now, over a decade later, we are estranged. So that was like quite a time. And in the middle of that, like when she first got hospitalized, I was dating my now husband. Which was interesting.
You were in the middle of that.
It's like, come visit my mom at a locked unit in Maine.
He's a keeper.
Yeah.
He
I
kept coming
this
back.
won't happen to me. I promise. And that we laugh about that, but I can only imagine what was going on through his head. It was a very hard time. There was really nothing funny about it. But
we laugh.
But we laugh now because it actually, some of the, to be with someone who's psychotic and to have it be your mom, it's such a wild experience because you're literally listening to them talk.
Yeah.
And their brain is so broken. So some of the things that were coming out of her mouth, I was like, this is unreal. It's an unreal experience. And it wasn't a client, which made
different.
It so strange because it's hard to know what hat you're wearing. I was like a fresh therapist.
Yeah.
So I had the lens of mental health in ways other people don't. But also it was my mom.
Yeah, it's weird.
And on some level, it was some of the things that drove us nuts about her that were on steroids too, like just irrationality and stubbornness. And anyhow, it was a long road. So when I had my daughter, I'll never forget the first time I introduced my daughter to her. She was in the carrier facing out. And I remember thinking, this is going to be could this be the thing that like turns my mom? That, gets her to get help or has her have a sliver of insight. Because I'll never forget a mental health clinician early on. He said to me, he was like, I know you're new to mental health. I've been doing this a long time. And he's like, with the majority of patients that we see, especially at this level, we think about a pie. He used the example of a pie. And he's like, you're looking for a sliver of insight, some little bit of awareness that their viewpoint of the world and what's happening to them is maybe different than someone else's.
Yeah.
And he said, and your mom, there is literally no sliver. Like, she is so rooted in her delusions and her victimhood. It was wild, but still hopefulness at that point. It was like my daughter didn't even exist. Wow. She just like diatribe, just coming at me. And I just remember being, poor Libby. And it was like this next level grief, like another wave of grief, because I'd already grieved and, gone through the grieving process of a mother that was alive.
Yeah.
That was never going to be who I wanted her to be.
Right.
But now I was like, oh shit, I got to grieve as this is the grandmother that my kid's never going to have. Right. And the mother that I'm not going to have as a mother. So it was like, this whole new can of grief opening. And, that was over a decade ago. And I have a very different perspective now. But for your listeners listening who get this, you don't have to have a mom who is that extreme to understand what it's like to grieve a mother or to maybe realize you need to grieve a mother that is living.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
And a lot of people deal with this.
I can't even tell you how many women, my unofficial data, when I'm in a room of women and I say, please raise your hand if you have a dysfunctional or strained or non-existent relationship with your mom. How many do you think raise their hand? What percentage?
10?
50.
50%?
About 40 to 50%. Yeah.
I thought 10 was a lot.
Yeah. No, it's like 40 to 50.
That's awful.
It's a range, strained to estranged.
Right, but it's shocking.
It's not healthy.
No.
So at least 40%. And again, this is just anecdotally, but I've been in a lot of rooms now. At least 40% would say they have an unhealthy relationship with their mother.
And it's probably women more like closer to our age, right? Mm-hmm. And that generation, I think, of women felt that I have kids now, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. I don't have an option. I become a mom. Mm-hmm. That's what's next for me.
I mean, you had said we were going to talk about identity. I thought about my mom in so many different ways over the years. And I think one of the things that I have so much compassion for her now around is that her identity, she never really stepped into the identity that she, I think, yearned for and was made for because she had kids so young.
Oh, did she? She
had kids, I think my sister, she was 23 or 24. And it was totally unexpected. They, welcomed, but, and she and my dad were like the couple in their group of friends who got married the first had kids first. And so no one had kids in their group of friends for years, but she became mom, and I once asked her, we did a trip kind of when she was starting the decline. And I was like, Mom, if you didn't like become a mom so young, like what would you have been? And she was like, I would have wanted to work for the UN and travel.
Cool.
And I was like, talk about an unlived life.
Yeah.
And that's that I think it's Carl Jung, like the hardest thing is like, when or the greatest tragedy is like giving your kids the unlived life or something like that. I'm totally butchering this quote.
No,
but
I got you. Yeah.
Have you heard this quote?
Yeah.
It is. It's like if we don't live out our desires, unfortunately, our kids do suffer directly, indirectly.
That's my big thing as a mom is like, okay, I grew up with parents that were I had wonderful parents, but very, they were a bit self-sacrificing, I would say. Mm-hmm. As I'm speaking, I'm like, will they listen to this one?
Yeah.
But they put their kids first because that's what they believed. They're cycle breakers as well. They didn't necessarily have two parents that were fully, as present as they could have been. But I believe, and more people from my generation believe, that you put yourself first. That a mother needs to be okay in order to parent their kids, but not just okay, but thriving.
Yes.
Because especially for a little girl, if you're seeing your mother, putting everything aside, oh, I don't want to be a mom.
Yeah.
I want to do what I want to do. And to set an example of that, I can follow my passions and my dreams, but also be a great mother to you. You don't have to choose.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm very interested in that topic. It's important that they see us that way, that they see that we're happy.
Yeah. I mean, this is at the heart of the movement that I'm leading and walking with in Mothering Ourselves Mindfully is, I always say it has nothing and everything to do with mothering. Like, I'm not a therapist who works with kids. I never have. And I'm not a parenting coach.
Yeah.
Like, no one's coming to me for parenting advice, I would say. And yet, it is at the nucleus of how we make impact as mothers, because of, like, we know that the most important thing is what you model.
Yeah.
Like, if you're saying one thing and doing another, or just, everything you do is modeling self-sacrifice, and self-sacrifice is love.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that becomes the blueprint that your daughters grow up with. And it doesn't matter. This is kind of what we're all unraveling now. It's like, you can read all the books and logically get that that's not the best way. And yet that lives in your nervous system. It lives in your interactions. It lives in, the air that you breathed growing up. And so this is what cycle breaking ultimately is, if you're wanting to do it kind of right or efficiently, it's at the body level.
Oh, yeah. And you're never going to be perfect.
No.
Probably if one of my kids or both of them ends up being a mom, they will take it a step further.
Yeah.
Every generation can evolve and hopefully learn something from their mothers, learn from our mistakes.
Totally. Well, and this is why at Mothering Ourselves Mindfully, which is what the School of Mom stands for in the School of Mom, my goal with my kids, because I know that, even though this is like what I'm passionate about and I'm committed and I'm pretty, I think, good at mothering.
Yeah.
I know that in the moment, an act of mothering might totally miss the mark of what they needed.
Yeah.
And so even the best intentioned mothers, the most mindful mothers, are still not quite meeting their needs in the moment, because we are not in their bodies. And so for me, the work is teaching my kid how to mother herself ultimately, because I'm not going to be around the whole time, and I might not be around when she needs me.
True.
Like she can call me on demand, but one of the things that I think is so important to name is that, if we're constantly outsourcing our resource of attunement and compassion and belonging and acceptance, then if that isn't available for whatever reason, we are going to struggle.
Yeah,
right?
Fall apart because
We're
you
going
don't
to
have
fall apart.
mom there to fix it for you.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's teaching them how to have this skill of mothering themselves, which, at that age, they might not see it that way, but, it's just taking care of themselves, tending to themselves, meeting their needs in the moment. That's really the foundation that I'm looking to set for my girls.
Yeah, I love that. I saw that with my girls, with sleep training and how they got so comfortable self-soothing that it actually irritates them if I linger, if I try, to comfort them. It throws it off. So they don't need me in that way.
Yes.
That's hard for mothers because we want to be needed.
Totally.
But it's important. And also, like, we need to free ourselves up to do other things.
Yeah. Well, this is healthy attachment is not a mom who's around all the time.
I know.
Right?
It's
That
true.
secure attachment is a mom who they're comfortable with her leaving because they know she's going to come back and they know they're going to be okay
Yeah.
Without her, it's like the bond, the resource exists without her presence. And so many of us have unhealthy attachment, which, you know, if you don't have healthy attachment, you don't have healthy unattachment. And so
true.
as we get older, right? So I have a program specifically for women who have that strained or non-existent relationship. It's called Untethered. We actually have a name for these women in my community. We're called apples.
Apples.
And this came out of an untethered cohort where someone said, you know, we were just having this really powerful conversation about how it's like the Mother's Day experience. If you are a quote unquote apple, i.e. you are very triggered by Mother's Day, or, you know, you have a strange non-existent relationship with your mom, you really struggle to have a conversation with someone who is an orange.
Is an orange someone who has
Someone
a
who has a really healthy
relationship?
relationship. And this is like most things in life, you know, a shared experience, but there's a particular like struggle if someone, even some of my best friends who have a really healthy relationship with their mom, I found myself, I was like, I just cannot talk to you about this thing.
I totally could see that. Yeah.
It's hard. But untethered, part of that is that they didn't have a healthy tethering. They didn't have healthy secure attachment. So they didn't have healthy untethering. And really untethering is releasing this hope that is really going to always end in grief. Like my mom's going to change. She's going to be there. But releasing the yearning for her to be someone she's not. And it feels really good.
Yeah, yeah, because it's
feels
not
good.
like you can change it by thinking about it.
No,
It could
exactly.
still happen if you let it go.
Yeah.
You never know. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah. Well, and
just
that's
releasing it into the, you know, universe.
totally. Well, and that's the difference between like the logic and the embodied piece.
Yeah.
Is that like logically, some of the women that come to me will be like, I know she's not going to change. I know she's not going to be the mom that I want her to be.
Right.
You know, I'm so angry. I'm so resentful. Maybe I have some acceptance. But at the same time, like they still want her approval. They still, and this was me. Yeah. They still want her love. They still want her to be that resource for them. Mm-hmm. And the work that I do is really dropping it down into the body because as you were just saying, like there's only so much logic can actually help you feel differently.
Yeah.
It's very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for better or worse, moms are powerful.
Oh, it's primal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're animal
do?
bodies responding to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, the story I'll give, this might be relatable to some of your listeners. I had been, early days when my mom was in the hospital, I was like, I think I had started to see a therapist in Boston through my insurance. And I remember she was like, why are you here? And I was like, well, I'm in grad school to become a therapist. I've never been in therapy, so I feel like I should probably be in therapy.
Interesting.
And I didn't really have anything crisis related, but I started talking about my mom. And about halfway through our time together, she had her first break. And it was so powerful to be in that therapeutic relationship at that time, thank goodness. Yeah. But so I would sit in therapy and I would, again, cognitively, logically understand, like, my mom is unwell. I'm a therapist. I get it.
Right.
We would practice scripts for, like, when I was with her and I was triggered. And then I remember this one time I was planning on seeing her. I felt so prepared. I was like, this is going to be different. And I was in, I don't know if you remember the old government center in Boston. It was like this concrete jungle. Mm-hmm. And I remember meeting my mom there. I don't know why we ended up there. And I remember screaming at the top of my lungs, and we had this huge blowout fight in the middle of Government Center on display, and I was so out of body.
Wow.
And I was like, where'd those scripts go?
Yeah, it's too real.
It's too real
your mom.
because I was in a primal, like, unconscious nervous system response, and that will override your prefrontal cortex being online all the time.
Of course. Of course.
So it's not your fault if you're still reacting in a way that feels like you, quote unquote, know better. Mm-hmm. You're so human.
Yeah. I know it's so hard. We can't really, with loved ones, you can't be your therapist.
No.
It's like in Garden State where his dad is his therapist and he's medicating him. It's like,
oh yeah,
you just, and that's why it's important to have therapists, because
Yes.
I don't want to be going to my husband all the time with this stuff.
Yeah.
Takes away from what our relationship should be.
Yes.
There's appropriate relationships for all areas of your life, which
Yeah.
that's a whole nother bag of worms is, romantic relationships.
Oh my
not
gosh.
having to be everything.
Well, it's interesting that one of the phenomenons that happens is that you seek in your partner
Yes.
what you didn't get in your mom.
Yep.
And it's magnified. And so I've been in couples therapy for many years. It's, really the deep end push for us was COVID, 2 kids, living in a small house, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
But, I will plug couples therapy all day, every day. Cause
same.
as we said, you can't, your partner can't be your mom. And it's important to find that resource.
Oh, yeah. And it's really hard to have the conversation you want to have with your parents, similar to the government center thing. You go in and you're like, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be very level headed.
Yes.
It's not going to turn into an argument.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get upset. He's not going to get upset. And then everyone gets upset and you don't accomplish what you set out to accomplish.
Never.
So
You never do.
yes. So, but yeah, I do think it's that, starting, it's yourself and then your relationship and then your kids and doing that work, going to therapy, going to couples therapy. I don't know that everyone should go to therapy, but why not? I kind of feel like maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no downside. It's the kind of thing you can pause from and always go back to when you need it. You don't need to be in therapy every single day of your life.
No.
Forever.
Yeah. And I think that there's a time and place this is something I talk about a lot now because I'm not actively practicing therapy anymore. I've moved into coaching and teaching. And I actually think that, it depends, so much of it depends on who you're working with, because one thing that we know from the research is that the biggest outcome, the best outcomes of therapy are the relationship, right? Not the modality, not the length of time. It's like the relationship. And so if you have a therapist where it feels dynamic and it feels just really healthy and you want to stay with it, it's great.
Yeah.
I do find a lot of women that I meet now are feeling like their therapy is Groundhog's Day. They're just talking and repeating. And
yes.
And this is where I'm starting to speak more openly about how actually talk therapy isn't helpful for some people and a lot of people at a certain point, right? And this is kind of where I got to with my therapist. And I actually was really grateful she kicked me out.
Yeah.
Because she was like, there's really nothing more we can do here. But that's where I was like, but wait, I'm still yelling my head off. But there's a difference between insight and embodiment, right? You can have a lot of awareness and still not be feeling a change. And that's, I think, where talk therapy can really keep people stuck.
Yeah.
And so, but couples therapy, so that's a long answer to saying 100% as long as it's helpful and you feel like, and for me, I'm always like, as long as they're bringing you into the body.
Yeah.
At some point. But couples therapy, I'm with you. I said to my husband when we were getting into it, luckily he had a guy friend that recommended it, which always helps. I think if guys are resistant, if there's a friend who's like, hey, you know what? This was helpful.
Yes, absolutely.
It helps because it's not coming from you. But I said to him something along the lines of if this is going to benefit our kids, if we can be we're both competitive.
Yeah.
So I kind of brought that in of if we can be the best parents that we can
Yes, it's such a good motivator.
why would we not do that? And we have the resources. And he was like, okay, and I think that when you're raising kids, unless you're really healthy and your relationship has a lot of great communication and you're attentive to each other's needs and emotionally attuned and all the things, unless you're those unicorn parents, I would say that it's a disservice to our kids. right? And I think we're all committed to raising healthy kids. Well, the modeling is really important. What are you modeling in a relationship? So, yeah. Anyhow, I have a really good friend who's a couples therapist, and she wrote a book called Parents in Love, specifically for like this niche of us.
Yeah.
Because so many of us, I think all parents who have kids, little kids, are like, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
You forget. You just become like their parents.
Yeah.
And you're into that.
Yes.
But you don't feel like you're in a relationship in the same way.
No.
It is very bizarre.
It's very bizarre. And a lot of the women that I support are like, behind the closed Zoom doors, are like, I don't think I married the right guy.
Oh,
Like,
they get in their head. Yeah.
With what unfolds in parenting. And then that's a whole, that's very big. It's a big weight to carry. And so I think that's why it's so, I'll never forget. We had just had Libby. We were probably 2 or 3 months in, and we were at each other. Neither one of us was rested. We were so tired. And we met my best friend from college and her husband for dinner. And we like walked in separate. We were we'd been fighting. And they said something like, oh, you guys, like we almost got divorced in the first 6 months. And we were like, you did?
You don't make any decisions in the first year,
We were like, wait, what? No, and it was like, oh, this needs to be shouted from the rooftops.
Normal.
Yeah, like the first year, especially as like that first kid, is hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
What's weird is that my experience was so rough that I saw that side of my husband that would do anything for me. And, the like light at, the other side of the coin, the positive side of it was that actually made me appreciate him even more and like deepen that, the romantic side of things, another story, because you do kind of feel too tired a lot of the times.
Always.
But I just saw it. I was like, oh, he's seen me at my absolute worst.
Yeah.
He's advocated for me.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's like sometimes difficult experiences push you to just figure it out.
Oh, totally.
But I can absolutely see that being at each other's throat.
Yeah. Well, I think
came later.
I used to like say, feel free to, well, please don't throw a tomato at my head, but feel free to throw a tomato at my head coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
Esther Perel, do you know Esther Perel? She's a famous couples therapist. She wrote the book Mating in Captivity. She's amazing. But she called COVID like the relationship accelerator.
Yes.
And it was like if people just met, they were getting married, but a lot of marriages, it put everything into a pressure cooker to the point where you couldn't ignore it.
Yes.
And I said to people, this is actually a good thing if you see it as an opportunity to work on the thing that is unignorable. If it is resentment, if it is anxiety, whether it's individually or as a couple, COVID put everything under that pressure cooker microscope. And it became this moment where it was like, I can't not relate to this.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing, because if we had a situation where we had our regular coping skills to numb out and blah, 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 and let it ride and ignore it, we could have just let it ride and ignored it. And we wouldn't have had to turn towards those things. And I think for so many people that were like, oh, shoot, like this means like we have to get into couples therapy now.
Yes.
That was a really good thing.
That is true. Actually, we got married in 2020.
Did you really? Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. How long did you guys
a long time.
You had been dating?
Well, I was 24 when I met him. He was 22.
Oh yeah.
So we waited until I was like 35, and then we had kids 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but it's true. You're like, oh, good thing this happened, because like now I know that it's not too boring when you're the only person I see all day, every day for months. Like that was fine.
Yeah.
I like his company is enough for a little while. Yeah. Anyway,
that's very good.
Eventually, you're like, I need friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't think I've talked about your kids yet. I haven't asked you.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have 2 of them.
But it kind of proves the point. It's funny though. A lot of these conversations I have, we hardly talk about our kids at all, because it's not really about them. just kind of cool. But I want to hear about, your experience leading into motherhood and like how that kind of rocked your world and shaped you, if it did.
Yeah. I did not always want to be a mom. I was not one of those people. I was the one that was annoyed when my friends would say, we're bringing our kids before I had kids, or like I would show up and there was kids. I was like, ugh, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
This is annoying. Even though I loved to babysit when I was younger, but I didn't know if I was going to have kids, to be honest. And then, cause I was like a very non-committal relationship person. And then I met my husband. I was in my late 20s when we met. And it was the type of thing where I wanted to have kids with him.
Yes, I relate to that so much.
I wanted to have a family with him. And I actually remember we were on a work trip or something, or work night with him, and his colleague had a baby. Like, they brought their baby. Yeah. And I felt like something had taken over my body, because I was like, I want to hold that baby. And it was literally like a click. Like, it was wildly biological.
Yeah, totally.
It was like, okay, I think I need to have a baby.
Yeah.
So but that was not something that caught me off guard.
It is for weird. Sure. It comes out of nowhere. I had that with my niece when my niece was born. Yeah. And then that's why we had ours like a year later.
Yeah. It was wild. And I was like, okay, I think I want to have a kid. Yep. It's so interesting though. I wonder what you would say to this. Someone recently posted something on Instagram that like made me pause, and I've posed it to my community. And it's did you want to have kids, or did you want to become a mom? And for me, it was, I wanted to have kids.
Oh.
Like, I don't think I ever really thought about, or like, it's like I knew that it was the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's been opened up really powerful conversations with the women that, like, what would you say?
I've never heard that before. I kind of like wanted to be a dad, or like the equivalent of that, because being a mom is really rough.
Yes.
Your body, your brain, like it's different.
I think I want to be like the fun aunt.
The fun aunt. Yeah, I love being an aunt. I didn't want that.
Yes.
Pressure, that responsibility.
Yeah.
That burden. But I definitely like wanted kids somewhere in there.
Isn't it interesting?
But I wasn't like talking about it.
Totally. And so,
yeah.
But it's such a different intention and vibe, right?
Sure.
So then you become a mom. And this has really been recent conversations with my community, is like, I don't really identify with mother, like I am one, but I love that you just said, like, a lot of times women don't talk about their kids, because that's actually very true in our community too, especially in my one-on-one work.
Yeah.
Very rarely are we talking about, Amanda and Sarah's mother. We're talking about your career. We're talking about your relationship. We're talking about your relationship with your body. And so it's so interesting. I think that just happens to be the community I'm with, is that like we actually, that identity feels, we're actually struggling to make it more than it is, or feeling like we should, or something like that. So anyhow, so that was my road, and I love being a mom, but it's almost like I still don't even call myself a wife. Like, I don't.
Fair. It's so gendered and it's so boxed in. Like, I have to be this thing.
Yeah,
but why?
Another line I love, again, neither of these are mine, but is I saw this and it really struck a chord. When you get married, you lose your last name. And when you have kids, you lose your first name.
You become mom.
Yes. And I saw that. And that's actually when changing my name, this is a whole can of worms, but I knew it meant a lot to my husband.
Yeah.
So I did it, but it did not sit well with me.
Oh, yeah.
And looking back now, knowing what I know about the language of my body, and like what is a no, or what is like something that is not really aligned. I know that that's what that feeling was, but I was very good at ignoring that feeling and not really relating to it at that time. I did on my birth certificate or on my whatever Social Security keep my names. But anyhow, all this to say, when I heard that, I actually brought my last name back. So now I introduced myself as Sarah Lowell Harmon. I put it on my podcast. It's on my website. It's going to be my new URL. It'll be what's on my book. Because like, I am Sarah Lowell.
That's who you are.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
And I actually love that Harmon is part of my name and it's this thing I share, but like and my husband would always be like, what's the big deal?
It's like, well, why don't you change your name?
You change your name. Like, I felt like my identity dropped out.
It's your name.
It's my name. And I didn't realize that until that comment. And it was so powerful. It was like a reclaiming, you know, and just even understanding, like I dove more into my lineage. Like, I mean, so I'm a Lowell. In Massachusetts, like it's a big name, you know? And I was like, not that I need to be associated with that name, but when I actually like, there's a book called The Lowells of Massachusetts. And I around that time I read it. Yeah. And I was like, why would I ever not want this lineage? Like this is so, they're amazing. Yeah. Like they were so committed. Like they were in the anti-slavery movement. They like one of my ancestors found Pluto. Like,
that's cool.
You know, I was like, what? Like, how could I? And so reclaiming it was this like, I felt like a part of me came back online.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that you have both. I kind of had the opposite. Neither of us changed our names because I was like, I'm not doing it.
Good
and
for
I hate
you.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
But then we gave our kids a hyphenated name, and now I'm like, now all of us have different last names. I don't like that either.
It's tricky, isn't it?
There's no, and then also like I'm
solution?
just passing on my father's name.
Yeah.
So there's no world in which we're carrying on the matriarchy, or you know, it's
100%.
just all patriarchy. So what are you gonna do?
What? And it's like, what is this? What's the solution? I mean, and then you get creative. Like my oldest daughter's first name is Lowell.
Yeah.
So she's Lowell Elizabeth, and we call her Libby. But I was like, I want my last name to be part of that. Yeah. And then my youngest's middle name is my family name. But it's like the consolation prize.
I know it like feels silly, but it's also like it's a piece of a bigger puzzle. Yeah, like this idea that we have to belong to a man, and that we're the mom. We have to do everything and take on all the burdens. It just like it's just feeds into that somehow. Totally bothers me so much.
Totally.
So I'm with you on that. I feel like such a stickler because a lot of people I talk to don't care about it. Like it doesn't bother most people, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. I've always been this way, though.
So this was one of my most, like, I love this conversation.
Yeah.
I thought it was when we casually started talking about it in my community, I was fascinated in every single woman's story and how they came to it. And it was like really illuminating to this bigger picture, of course, of like patriarchy and ownership and blah, blah, blah. And I just like, I love that we're talking about it. And I want women to like keep talking about it. And maybe like, you know, I think it's different even now in 2026 than when I got married, but like, please like pause and actually tune into what feels good for you.
Yeah. Not just to like, not
to please your husband and to say like, and you know, I think, as I said, like I knew it mattered to him, but this should be another.
But it matters to you too. Yeah, no.
Maybe I still have some residual resentment.
No, that's again putting him first.
Yes,
that you always have to be first.
Yeah, and the lack of understanding of why that would be hard for me.
Yeah,
and that's what was really. It was like, well, can you try to put yourself in my shoes? Oh no, you struggle with that. So. And I think we've made so much progress. It would be a different conversation now than it was, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's so fascinating.
It's so fascinating.
It's just words, it's language, and it has so much meaning.
So much meaning. I mean, it's identity, you know, and that's a big part of it. So I think we started by talking about like my journey to motherhood.
Yes.
And so I am a mom, but I feel like I still kind of struggle with that identity.
Yeah.
I like my kids, my daughters are the biggest teachers in my work, in my inner work. And it's like the hardest and best thing, one of the hardest and best things I've ever done.
Yes, I agree. And is that kind of what sparked School of Mom? Did you have an experience with your daughters where you felt stuck or where you needed something?
So the School of Mom was born before my kids, essentially.
Okay,
it really was where personal experience as a woman who now is estranged from her mom, as a daughter who is estranged from her mom, met professional experience as a therapist, supporting so many moms who had a very similar like struggle to mine, even though they didn't have the extreme. Like, it was wild to me that so many women would come into my office as a therapist and they would start talking. They didn't know my story. And I would be like, wow, this is so relatable.
Wow.
And so, you know, I realized there was a need for more community, because shame can breed in isolation. And there's so much shame as a apple, you know, so much anger and frustration. And so part of it was like, we need to actually start talking to each other.
Yeah.
And also learning this, for me, the big aha, there was so my first silent retreat that I went on, I was pregnant. No, my daughter was like 4 months. And I kind of had to go because I was doing a graduate certificate in mindfulness studies. So I never would have done this. I left my baby. I was crying all the way there.
Oh.
But I am so grateful that I went, because while I was there, I was still kind of in touch with my mom. And I remember there's something called Dana in the mindfulness space, the mindfulness world, where it's generosity. Dana means generosity, and it's donating, you know, whatever feels aligned for you. And so they have opportunities for Dana in the retreat. And one of those is to donate meals. And I am at a silent retreat. I don't have my phone. I'm contacting nobody. And I donated lunch or whatever it was in honor of my mom, because very unconsciously I thought, I will donate this to my mom and I will tell her about it when I get out. When I get out, like I'm being released.
Right.
And maybe that will make her happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking about her.
Wow.
But, you know, fast forward a few days, I did a lot of really deep mindfulness work that week. I was on this rock called Meditation Rock, not so original, but it was in the middle of January. And I had this moment where I was like, I'd realized what I'd done because I'd been sitting with it for 2 days, right? And I was like, I spoke. I found my voice in a silent retreat. I spoke to Mother Nature. It was this pond, Meditation Rock, and I said, I actually yelled. I was like, I am done seeking love from someone who cannot give it to me. I am done. And then I bawled my eyes out.
Wow.
And then I looked down, and actually in that moment, I had given myself permission to skip the next sit, which for me was a big deal because I'm a rule follower, but that was an act of mothering myself. I was like, I'm just going to give myself permission to stay here and to take it easy. And I looked down, and someone had pinned under a rock very intentionally a little friendship bracelet.
Oh.
And this is Insight Meditation Society in Western Mass. It is the most special place. And there's just, people's hearts are so open. There's so much generosity. And I looked down, and it was like, oh my God. It was this moment of like, I'm releasing seeking love from someone who can't give it to me. And I'm all of a sudden now I'm more open to receiving it from where I can get it.
Yes.
Right? And
freed it up.
And what I realized, really what came together for me in that retreat, was that we all have what I call the mother bucket. And that is that only your mom can fill this bucket.
Yes.
Love, witnessing, you know, all the things. Mm-hmm. And if she can't, we will try to fill it from other things, our partners, addiction, right? Numbing out however we can. But the next best person, really the only person that can start to fill that bucket next to your mom is you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that was the moment where mothering ourselves mindfully was really born, was just like, oh, wait, there's such a process here of releasing, like untethering from the mom that you don't have. And then when I say untethered, I don't want, you know, I think when if you look up the definition of untethered, we don't want you lost and floating.
Okay.
Right? So we want you to feel free from the burden of that relationship, but we want you to feel very grounded
Not like you're floating off. Yeah.
Yes. And so actually on the other side of untethering is you get to be the mother that you never had for yourself. Cool. And this is, so as my kids have gotten older, it's been so powerful, and the work is, as it does, it's evolved. I'm about halfway through my 7th year of the School of Mom. And so much has evolved, and it's really a co-creation with the women that have been walking with me. But the School of Mom is really that learning how to be the mother for yourself that you never had, so that you can be that mom for your daughter. Mm-hmm. Because I will say the biggest motivation is not it's healthy, but it's honestly, it's got an edge. It's I desperately don't want to fuck up my kids like my mom. It's 3 a.m. terror of, and I know so many moms relate to this, of I just don't want to fuck up my kids. I don't want to become my mom, and I'm seeing it happening in small ways.
Oh yeah.
And so that is the begin again motivation of okay, I gotta this is, right. And of course, the first person that ends up benefiting is you. So I always say, I don't really care how people come to me. It could be you're motivated to not fuck up your kids and to not repeat history. It could be that you're motivated to make more time for yourself. Yeah. Whatever it could be, all roads lead to the same healing journey, right? But I think ultimately for so many of us, our kids are the push.
But listen,
daughters.
If your kids are the reason at first and you heal, then you can move past that and learn to be the reason yourself. Because I have experienced that too of would I have ever worked on this if I didn't have kids? I don't know if I would have.
So this is so interesting because a friend of mine who is an Apple, so she's the only one outside of my book coach that's read my manuscript. And as part of what I say in there, I actually say something that's probably triggering for many, a little edgy, but it's basically your dysfunctional relationship with your mom, that lack of relationship, who she is / isn't, can actually be the biggest gift that she could ever give you. It's really hard to see that when you're in the pain, but I see it now. I know that if I didn't have the mom that I have, I wouldn't be this sturdy. I wouldn't have learned how to insource deep love for myself.
You wouldn't have felt like you needed to.
I wouldn't have needed to. I wouldn't have, because I had such a deficit. And so I said to her, because one of the things that comes up a lot is unfairness. Mm-hmm. It's not fair. It's not fair. And sometimes we even see it in the same moment where I'm oh my God, I love my kids so much. Mm-hmm. I can have a slingshot thought of how come I didn't have this?
Right.
This is so unfair.
Almost jealous even of your
I'm
kids.
This is bullshit. That I am snuggling and sniffing her head and I love her so much and I never had this. But then I twist it. So I said to her recently, I was so one way to look at this though is is it fair that you had the mother you had, and as a result of that, now you get to be this woman for your daughter? Is that fair for your daughter? And it's actually it is fair. That's actually more than fair.
That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we look at it from a lineage perspective and we zoom out and we see our role, I invite women to connect to the pride that comes with that, because when I see my role in the lineage, I actually think that my mom, this is where I'm on the other side of this. So again, women might throw a tomato at my head who are in it, but I actually I know that my mom's soul and my soul are working together in this lifetime. Yeah. Even though I have no relationship with her. But we are here. There is purpose. And that's one of the final stages of grief is meaning. So if you're listening and you don't feel like you're there, I will tell you that you can get there. Mm-hmm. That I have so much hope for you to actually see the lack of relationship with your mom as the best thing. You are a lucky one. Yeah. It's actually the most fair. Yeah. Because of what's on the other side of the work that you get pushed into.
That's cool. I mean, you literally came out of her
Yeah.
So she put you here to do the great things that you're doing. So you can't deny, your mother's part in it.
Yeah, that's actually, thank you for saying that. Literally, she pushed me out.
Yeah. She brought you into this world.
She brought me into
Hence
this world.
The podcast name.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that expression is funny, and it's like, to have fun with something that's got a negative connotation.
Yes.
I brought you into this world and I can take you out.
Yes.
There's so many other ways that could end, that sentence. And it's fun. It's fun to just kind of play with that idea.
Totally. Well, and this is where like one of my favorite questions, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older and I feel like I'm hitting an existential crisis or something like that, is like, what's the point? What's the point? Like, what is the point of our conversation today? What is the point of any of this? Why are we even moms? Why am I a mom to this kid?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why am I in this marriage? Why are we talking openly about how important couples are? Like, what is the point, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be in spaces, which is why I friggin' love my community so much, because we have said yes to being accountable, to be in conversations where we are, it's like a cold glass of water in the face to your life.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait, why are we here again? What's going on in your body right now? And like to get us out of this unconscious loop, it's so important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, believe it or not, we've been talking for almost an hour.
My gosh.
I don't know. What else? Was there anything else that you wanted to say out to moms out there? Any advice?
I mean, we have covered a lot of ground. I think just like reiterating this invitation of, the trigger, the hard thing, the challenge is the invitation. It is the window of opportunity that can lead to the biggest unlock for you claiming your next level of flourishing. And that's kind of, it's maybe a little kitschy to say, but like it is, because I see it. Like I've seen women that have been with me from the beginning now. We are just constantly like laughing and smiling and celebrating the radicalness of how much this work has shifted our lives. Like I'll leave you with an example of a woman she's actually a teacher. She teaches Rest, Allie. Rest with Allie is her handle. And we call her the Rest Queen because she teaches Yoga Nidra.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, she told us that, when a lot of moms go away, for example, they come back and they feel guilty, or they never even go away and they walk in and like it's a mess, and their husband's like making comments, snarky comments. And so she came home from a retreat. She walked into that scene. It wasn't blissful. Everyone was yelling. Her husband was annoyed. And she just said quietly to herself, she goes, "You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome that I went away." Like it was such a different embodied self.
Yeah.
Right. She walked in with this like, "You're welcome that I went away because I am a different person walking into this."
I should try that.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm like, "Honey, I'm gonna go do something tonight.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that." Instead, I'll say, "You're
instead
welcome."
of apologizing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll add on to that and say, when I talk about silent retreats, I've done 3 now. I'm out of contact for 8 days.
I don't think I'm capable of a silent anything.
They're so hard. People are like, "Oh, that's so nice." I'm like, it's not nice.
Doesn't not sound nice.
There's moments of nice, but women will say to me, "Oh, I don't think I could ever do that. I couldn't be away from my kids for that long," or like, and they don't say it in like a judgy way, but I kind of watch their process, and I'm intrigued by it, to be honest. And if they're available for it, I think they're available for it. I'll say something like, "I totally get it." And the version of me who returns from that retreat is beyond what would have unfolded if I was there for those 7 days. Like it is the biggest gift that I can give my kids, that it is irresponsible of me not to go now. Now that I know what comes out, who I am when I walk into the energy, the frequency that is emitted from my body, it's why I keep going back. I'm scheduled for one in January. We'll see if I end up going. It's my 4th. And does it have to be a silent retreat? No. There's lots of other ways.
Yeah.
But the point is that, we're going over the hour now, but a another really interesting anecdote from a conversation with my community was we reflected on our last year together, and we asked ourselves, when was the time this year that you felt the most alive, the most grounded, the most flourished? And we all just answered. And then collectively we realized not one person shared a moment with their kids.
That's funny.
And of course we didn't judge it at all because we all did it together. Not one of us shared a moment with our kids. And it's telling, right? It's like, oh, wait. So you're saying the most important thing I need to do to be a mindful, conscious, compassionate, sturdy parent is actually go away?
To leave, okay. Yes. You are motivating me because I've never spent a night away in 3 years.
That's what I want to leave people with is like, it's not, this isn't a blanket prescription, but actually like go feel your connection to yourself, to aliveness, to play, to your body, to beauty, to awe. And then that is the version that they get. So it's so important.
Well, I'm putting that out to our audience. Leave your kids. Leave your kids. No, just kidding. Find that moment where you can flourish as yourself. Taking care of yourself and checking in with yourself. It's so important.
It's such a gift for them.
Yes.
To have a mom who is like healthy and happy and alive is the biggest gift you can.
Hell yeah. Alive is important, especially.
Yes. Like alive.
Like fully alive.
Like fully alive.
Yeah, I did another episode. It was called Moms in Pursuit of Passion. Or no, Pleasure. It was the pursuit of pleasure. Even better. And it's just all about that being the purpose of life, not just surviving or being happy, but like finding pleasure
like
in all
carpe
areas.
diem sees
Yes.
life. Yeah.
Like, let's do this.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for being on. And we will release episodes first Wednesday of every month. And thank you again for tuning into I Brought You Into This World. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.